This time, there's nowhere he can't go. In Spider-Man 2, the game, you have the freedom to go wherever you want, whenever you want. Use amazing new abilities to hop from blacktop to rooftop and save the city one crime at a time. Spider-Man 2, the game. Rated T for teen.
Funny thing about Spider-Man and his web fluid, it's actually designed so that after an hour the web actually dissolves. That's why people typically don't find the web hanging around after Spider-Man has swum by. God, I'm a nerd. Anyway, good evening, guys. Hope you all had a good work week. Welcome to the Game Reserve. My name is Jacob Newman, and I'm the warrior in these parts. And tonight we are playing Spider-Man 2, the video game, the 2004 game, not to be confused with the 2003 game that came out not too long ago. So, the original Spider-Man movie, it was one of the biggest blockbusters of all time. It made a killing at the box office. It was well received by audiences and critics, and they made a ton off of all the merchandise and everything. It was just one of the movies of the early 2000s. And one of the more profitable ventures regarding that original movie was the game by Activision and Treyarch. Even though it's nothing special by today's standards, it was much better than it had any right to be. And it definitely took advantage of a lot of the lore to expand it into a full game, rather than just sticking to what was in the movie. And the funny thing about that is, after the original Spider-Man came out, Spider-Man 2 went straight into production because it was such a huge hit. And because of that, Treyarch was able to go straight to work on the follow-up to the Spider-Man game that they did. So they essentially had 2 years to make the sequel, which was a good thing because that's pretty standard for video games, especially from this time. And Spider-Man 2 itself was an A+ sequel by all accounts. It is still, in my opinion, the definitive Spider-Man movie, at least as far as live action films go. And the video game itself that was based on it, for the longest time, was considered the definitive Spider-Man game. In a lot of ways, the game based on Spider-Man 2 was the first modern-day superhero video game. It set standards that a lot of different games would follow, ranging from The Incredible Hulk, Batman, and even a few original games like Infamous and Prototype. And its example is still being followed today, as a lot of the gameplay mechanics and structure would continue to be used when Insomniac started making their own Spider-Man games. Now, I played Spider-Man 2 when it was new. I never owned the game, but this was another game that was a freaking rental for me, primarily because it just, at the time, allowed you to live out that fantasy of being a superhero more than any other game at the time. And yeah, for the longest time, it was what I saw as the best Spider-Man game, at least until Insomniac started making their games. So I'm really excited to revisit it and showcase it for the YouTube channel. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started on that. As to how I'm going to be playing this game, I'm going to be playing the GameCube version, which is just the version of the game that I'm used to. More specifically, I'm going to be playing it off my Wii. So one thing I've heard lately, give me 1 second, there it is. I've actually heard a rumor that Activision is planning to re-release a lot of their old games that they made prior to when Disney bought Marvel, which I don't know if that's true or not, but if it does happen, games like Spider-Man 2, the original game, Wolverine, X-Men Origins Wolverine, and Deadpool will be available on Xbox consoles. And if it does happen, be sure you guys pick up the good ones when you can, because Lord only knows when the deal's going to fall apart and Disney orders them delisted. Treyarch. It's a shame they only get to work on Call of Duty these days, because they really are a talented team. And I'm not a big fan of this title screen. That's just a really low resolution image of Spider-Man. And, like, it kind of takes away from the title itself, but then again, we are talking about Spider-Man here. He's a recognizable character. You just put him there, and anyone is going to recognize it. Alright, let's go ahead and start a new game. Let's see here. BGP, Bladeslinger's Game Preserve. Do 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 do. My God, it is so funny going back to this game. After all the time that has passed. This game is... Hell, this game is over 20 years old at this point. Like, I mean, look at all that pop-in. Look at how low resolution that is. It's so funny going back to this now that I'm used to the games that Insomniac has been doing, which really do represent the state of the art for the industry. I remember when this game came out, though, the size and scale of this city was just groundbreaking for the time.
It's the usual thing. Boy meets girl, boy loses girl, boy meets another girl. Oh, but I'm getting ahead of myself.
And that is Tobey Maguire doing that voiceover right there. Him, Kristen Dunst, and
more my life is spent
whoever plays Dr. Octopus. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. All lend their voices to the game, which is pretty cool.
It's a bigger problem. This is the city I protect. New York City. It's my home. My playground. My responsibility.
If you say so, Spidey.
And this is Mary Jane. The girl next door. The girl I love. But love is a tricky thing when you live part of your life behind a mask. Fate handed me amazing powers, and I made a promise to use those powers to help people. With great power.
At that angle, it kind of looks like he's given the eye, doesn't it?
No matter how much I might wish things were different, there's only one Spider-Man.
That's funny.
Well, sequel time already, huh? Welcome back, I guess. I'm sure you miss me more than I missed you. Anyway,
I did miss you,
things have
Bruce.
changed around here since last time, so they dragged me back at great expense to explain what's up.
Great expense, my ass. That great expense was probably a favor from Sam Raimi.
Stick to walls. So here's what you do: you walk or run into a wall and hold the grab button. Voila! You stick to the wall. It works when you're swinging or jumping too.
Yeah, about the same as the original
Moving
game.
right along, let's
And
talk.
the movement still feels a little finicky. You can really only move in 8 directions. You don't have that full analog control. But it's fine, especially when you're outdoors.
You don't actually jump until you've let go of the jump button. Okay?
Yeah, and jumping's a
Now
little
go jump
different
later.
too. As Bruce is saying, up there in the left-hand corner of the screen, you have a jump meter, so you just push the button, you do a little hop,
Tap the jump button.
but you can hold it, and if you wait until it's completely filled, you can do a really high jump,
That's
which
because
is
you
probably
can manage your jump.
implemented in the game because it'll allow you to get some altitude rather than having to climb up a skyscraper to do so. So yeah, that was a good call.
That's your destination marker, and it tells you how to get where you need to go. Clever, huh? When it's in the middle of the screen, you know you're heading towards your goal. Easy, right? All right. stop
Yeah,
there for a
waypoint
second.
markers.
Look at your map. See it there? That red thing in the center is you, and the blue dot is your destination marker. The line that connects each dot to the map represents how high off the ground that particular thing is. Oh, that makes sense, right? Yeah, sure it does.
Now that's something that's interesting. This game actually indicates elevation on the map for the waypoint markers. There are a lot of open world games that do feature a lot of elevation that don't have that feature, so it's funny that it's in a game this old.
Get busy. Okay, so the next thing I want you to do is jump off the building. I mean it, just jump. Hey, I wouldn't tell you to do something dangerous and life-threatening, would I? Come on.
Honestly, if Bruce Campbell told me to jump off a building, I probably would.
You always do what people tell you. You don't really work for that. Loser.
Oh, screw you, Bruce.
Just a little friendly advice, before you die, that is. You're gonna want to shoot a web line to save yourself. Push the control stick in the direction you want to go, then press the swing button. Oh, by the way, it'll only work if there's something swingable in range. Okie dokie. Great, you made it.
Yeah.
Now let me tell you a little about swing. Every time you press the swing button, you'll shoot a new web line. Now there's all kinds of fancy stuff you can do, but let's take baby steps.
Yeah, so this is one of the bigger innovations with Spider-Man 2.
Do your thing.
In the original Spider-Man game,
Go ahead.
the web shooting was really just a fly mode. You would hold down the R1 button, and Spider-Man would, in essence, just swing off the sky, and he could fly endlessly. Which Treyarch didn't really like. They didn't think it really gave you the full Spider-Man experience. So they actually wanted to incorporate this system where you would actually have to swing from the buildings themselves. But they didn't have time to incorporate it. But after the game wrapped, they kept working on it and had a system in place by the time they got the green light. So they were able to implement it right away.
For the next lesson,
I have a feeling that a good chunk of the development was spent trying to accommodate the web swinging system, and rightfully so, because it's far more stimulating than the system that they used in the first game.
What are you gonna do about it?
Just makes for fun traversal as
All
well.
the stuff you've learned together and get into action. Swing after the. Looks like the robbers are escaping on foot. Go teach them about justice.
Gongala!
Beating the snot out of it. I mean, this isn't a civics class. What do you expect?
Get back here, you! Sure you can! Feckin' degens.
Want to see something cool?
Pardon my French.
Sprint after that last robber by holding the sprint button while you run. And
Sure you can!
nice going. Now get back to the arcade arm. You know, you should check out some of the games he's got too.
Yeah, so the combat in the game is a little shallow, all things considered. It's definitely not as frantic or fast-paced as the Insomniac games, but it gets the job done.
Bring up your zoom map for a second, would you? Great. This map is real useful. You can see destination markers and all kinds of other useful locations on it. Check it out when you get lost. But you'll never get lost, I know you.
Just want to check my sound real quick.
Map is real useful.
Not hearing it. Just want to check my sound. There it is. Alright. Alright, let's get back to it.
A destination marker for the first Spidey store just appeared. Go buy the speed upgrade, then we'll move on. And if you won't, then I'm done.
It's cool that the upgrade store is in a comic book shop. That's a fun touch. And there are different upgrades that you can buy throughout the course of the game. It'll give you traversal options and combat abilities, so decent sense of progression there.
Quiet lately. Maybe my luck's finally changing.
You wish.
Isn't it beautiful, Rosie? This will be my gift to the world. Unlimited energy. The power of a sun harnessed for the good of all mankind.
No, I don't think Tobey Maguire or Kristen Dunst do a terribly good job with the voiceover here, but Bologna, I think his name is, the guy who plays Dr. Octopus, he does a fantastic job. I think the guy has actually done a lot of voice work. I think he plays the character on Big City Greens, if I'm not mistaken.
Before we go any further, I think it might be a good idea to save your progress, if you can call it that. Just go to the pause menu and bring up the save load screen.
He just can't help but insult me, can he?
Well done. Do it.
I guess he wants me to. Alright. And this is the other big thing
Dr.
that
Connor's class. I got so caught up in what I was doing, I forgot all about it.
Spider-Man 2 introduced, and that's the free roam system. You have this humongous map of New York to explore, which is just great. Like, there was some open-ended design in the original Spider-Man game that Treyarch did, but here, the vast majority of the gameplay takes place in the open world, which just gives you this great sense of freedom. And Spider-Man's abilities just make this so much fun. Like, one of the more overlooked aspects of open world game that I feel developers tend to neglect is traversal. They have a tendency for it to be really boring, like in Far Cry 2, for example. It has a tendency to be a little dull. They call it a far drive 2 just because of how far you have to drive and how uneventful that drive can be.
Sorry, Dr. Connors.
But in Spider-Man, it's never an issue because the web swinging is just so stimulating that you never really mind how far you have to travel. It's just a great system that really adds to the gameplay.
Let them get the case.
Don't worry, officer, I got this. Hey now, no rabbit punches.
Spider, we're gonna need more men.
Yeah, get a couple more guys. Then it might be close to a fair fight. Gongala!
Why does stuff like this always happen when I'm running late?
It's just the nature of being Spider-Man, dude. Ooh, more bad guys. I got a knuckle sandwich for all you guys. How about a little web?
This is the part where you fall down. So much for you.
Degens.
Case secure.
Hey, you're not getting away.
School day.
Yeah, don't let the pavement hit you on the way down, asshole.
Hi, my name's Spider-Man, and I'll be your rescuer today.
Thank you so much for saving me. The briefcase, you got it back. Thank goodness.
Why did they want this so badly?
I'm sorry. I can't really talk about it.
All right. Well, at least try to be more careful from now on.
Don't worry.
Maybe I can still make it before class ends.
Yeah, and what's in that briefcase? Yeah, you never learn about it. I feel like originally Treyarch just was making a sequel to their original Spider-Man game, regardless of if there was going to be a movie or not. But then they got the green light to do the game based on the movie, so they had to abandon some of the plot lines they had and just had to incorporate stuff from the film.
But
Peter, I don't want to hear excuses. You have a keen scientific mind, but your grades are slipping. You miss class half the time, and when you do show up, you're asleep in your seat.
yes, Dr. Connors. I understand.
Have you started your paper on Dr. Octavius yet? He's a good friend of mine, so you'd better know what you're talking about.
Well, I've been thinking about it.
Thinking isn't your problem. But that paper isn't going to write itself, Peter. And if you don't get your act together, you're in serious danger of failing this class.
I know, Dr. Connors. I'll pull things together. I promise.
I hope so. I'll see you in class.
And this is part of why I think that Spider-Man 2 is the best Spider-Man movie, because it's the only film that really dives into the struggles of being Spider-Man. You know, just trying to manage that superhero lifestyle in addition to a normal lifestyle, you know, holding down jobs, maintaining relationships and friendships. It's not easy when you're constantly having to stop to fight superpowered freaks of nature. And the fact that in the film, Spider-Man is having to deal with it in isolation just makes it all the more interesting, especially considering that a lot of the emotions that Peter feels in the film are depicted through Tobey Maguire's visual performance, his body language, his acting. It's just really good. Much prefer it over any of the movies that were attached to the MCU. The only thing that I don't like about Spider-Man 2 is that while Tobey Maguire is great as Peter Parker, he's not really good as Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield, he was better as Spider-Man, but not really good as Peter Parker. And Tom Holland is sort of a mix in between. He's both good as Spider-Man and Peter Parker, but he's not as good as either side of the coin as his two predecessors were. And you guys all know who I think is the best Spider-Man. It's, damn, am I already forgetting his name? It's the guy who did the voice of Spectacular Spider-Man. Josh Keaton, that's his name. It's also nice that you have the ability to sprint, too. Allows you to move a bit more briskly, which is good considering how much ground you have to cover in this game. The web swinging in this game is really good, but I do have one issue with it, and that's when you attach to a building. You seem to be drawn towards it, so you sort of have to fight against it. I don't remember that being the case in the Insomniac games. You tend to stay in one place, which just feels a bit better. How about a side mission?
All the world is my dressing.
I have many pizzas that need delivering, and you are late, like always. You're the only delivery boy here right now, too, so you must deliver everything. Don't be late.
You got it, Mr. Aziz. I'll deliver those pizzas before you know it.
That's what you always say. Now prove it.
Yeah, that's right. One of the side missions is delivering pizzas. Isn't that great? And what's funny about this is you can't really web swing, because if you do, the pizzas will get messed up. So you essentially have to deliver these things on foot, which is just really funny. I also love how no one in the city questions why Spider-Man is delivering pizzas. That was one of the funnier bits from the movie, though, when Peter had to deliver pizzas as Spider-Man. That's also the first mission in the GBA game.
I have to rein in the stunts. The pizza's gonna be destroyed.
You made it. And on time. Hey, good job.
All right, an empty delivery bag means it's time to head back.
And people really love this pizza delivery song. I hear people use it all the time.
This should be a safe spot to change.
You actually turned out to be pretty good this time. Pizzas were delivered on time, and all my customers are happy. Make sure you keep this up, and maybe you'll get a bonus.
Wow, Mr. Aziz, thanks.
Wonder how many people in New York have a part-time job as a pizza delivery man. I'd imagine you'd have to hold down a couple of jobs just to make ends meet in a city like
I
that.
promised Harry and MJ that I would meet them this evening.
Ah. Yeah, so while the traversal system is fun, it just does feel a little finicky compared to the Insomniac games. And really, there would be a bunch of other Spider-Man games like this that would come out in the years that follow, like Ultimate Spider-Man or Spider-Man Web of Shadows, that all follow the same gameplay structure as this game. And the web swinging mechanics would always improve with each game, so yeah, it's kind of hard to deny that Spider-Man 2 has aged to some degree. Not to the point where it's not fun to play, but it's just kind of hard to go back to after all these years.
Peter, you made it. Happy birthday.
Hey, buddy. MJ and I had a bet going on whether you would actually show up.
Thanks, Harry. Hey, MJ. I'm almost afraid to ask, but who won the bet?
I did, of course. Okay, Harry, pay up.
All right, all right. Are you sleeping all right, Pete? You look beat.
Just some late nights.
Still palling around with that murdering bug?
Harry, I know you think Spider-Man killed your dad.
He did kill my dad. Someday I'll get him for it, too. Tell him that next time you see him.
Yeah, if you guys never saw the first movie, he's talking about Harry Osborn, aka the Green Goblin, who unfortunately met his end at the end of the first movie.
Happening at once. The billboards, the play, which you have to come see, by the way.
Kristen Dunst isn't doing too bad as MJ here.
Huh? Oh, swing by, yeah. Thanks. Yeah, I promise I'll go.
And there's only so much the voice acting can gel up here, considering the graphics.
I'm heading up special projects now. We've been providing funding and tritium for one of your heroes. Dr.
I remember back in the day, I used to think this looked so realistic, but that's just laughable to think
I'll set
now.
everything up then. Hey, come on, let's eat.
Man, that cake was good. I'm stuffed. I better burn off some calories or I won't fit in my costume anymore. I can't even remember the last time I saw Harry or Mary Jane.
Yeah, and in between missions, something that's always on your to-do list is to gain a certain amount of hero points. And how you do that is essentially just going out and being Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
So there are people on the streets that you can talk to, and they'll have crimes for you to fight.
Come out with your hands up.
You ain't taking us in. No one's getting shot on my watch.
There are some crimes that will occur outside of this format, but most of them are going to be like that, where you gotta talk to a civilian in order to get the mission. Which is a little clunky, but it still does for the most part work. But I definitely prefer how it is in modern Spider-Man games, where the crimes are just happening and you just stop them as you swing by, which just feels a little more fluid. And it still gives you the sense of being Spider-Man, while a lot of the crimes you have to stop in the game tend to be very repetitive. It just gives you that sense of swinging around town, stopping to stop muggers or burglars or carjackers. It just makes you feel like Spider-Man. It's good.
They said they'd hurt me if I didn't call you. But please don't hate me. No, we got you.
Sure you do.
Is this trap for me or you?
Alright guys, 3 things are gonna happen here. I hit you, you hit the pavement, the ambulance hit 60.
Check if he's a superhero first.
Boy, you just aren't landing a punch on this guy. He keeps blocking you. You better try a different tactic, or I'm gonna fall asleep.
Oh, shut up, Bruce. It's nice how after every side mission you get a little bit of health back, which is good.
Harry's dad. The Green Goblin. How could I tell him that?
Honestly, Spider-Man 2 is also a really relaxing game to play. In the comics, if Spider-Man needed to clear his head, he would often just go to the skyscrapers and just go swing around for a little bit to clear his head. And you kind of get that sense as you're swinging around too. This was a popular game for me to play during my college days when I just needed to study. So I would swing around, do a side mission, go through my notes, and then swing around a little bit more.
It was terrible. I just saw someone being carjacked.
Hey, come on, somebody help!
I like to think that whenever I'm stopping these guys, I'm actually stopping someone who's playing Grand Theft Auto. Man, moments like that definitely had me missing the web wings from Spider-Man 2, the 2003 game. Alright guys, license and registration. Sure you can! Hadouken!
Try not to run into my fist with your face.
It's just fun to be a superhero, in my opinion. And see, here's a crime in progress right here.
Truce, till we get rid of the spider. Get it!
No muggy.
Oh, not cool. Whoa, Spider-Man.
Teach you.
You're going to hurt someone.
Must have been a rumble or something. Alright. The game should progress now.
Oh no. At my birthday dinner, I promised MJ I would meet her this evening. I gotta hurry.
Music is pretty forgettable, though. You got some tracks from the film score, but to be honest, I never really liked the film score in the Spider-Man movies. I always wish that they would have adopted that rock and roll guitar from the 90s cartoon. That's just what I always think of when I think of Spider-Man, but that's probably because I grew up with that show. I was actually watching some of it in preparation for this video. I've just been in a Spider-Man mood lately. And that double jump really is helpful. And I like how if you sprint while using it, Spider-Man will actually dive so you can get distance as opposed to height. You can tell they put a lot of thought into how you would make your way through the city. They knew how big of a draw that was going to be. About halfway through the stream, things going pretty well, I would say.
Sorry, I'm running a little late, MJ.
I've gotten used to it.
It was great seeing you and Harry again the other night.
Yeah. Anyway, I brought you the ticket for my play. Peter, I think you should know. I'm seeing someone now. A guy.
Oh. Really? Huh. Really?
Is that all you have to say?
That was a good response.
I have to go.
Of course you do.
I'm really sorry, MJ. I really want to talk more. I'll call you.
Yeah. Sure.
Can't believe I ran off like that. I must be out of my mind.
Well, considering all the crazy stuff you do, Spider-Man, I would say that would be an apt description. Ooh, art thieves. I've got an extra special beating for you guys. Alright, fellas, line up for a beating.
Tough job market for art majors, huh?
We knew you'd show up.
And yet you guys prepared nothing. Oh, you did not just shoot your crap at me. You should not play with guns.
Hey guys, are you here for the 2-for-1 on European Masters too?
Death from above! With rubber bullets. Ah. Enough with the shooting. Degens.
This may not be art, but I like it. Who?
Yeah, and just like with the original game, they pad out the experiences with sections of the game where you encounter different villains from Spider-Man's Rogue Gallery. In this case, we got his femme fatale Black Cat here, who actually becomes a recurring character throughout the game. It's also a good mission to include here because it helps you come to terms with moving through the city as well. Really using that jump button to get height and distance. Really smart.
Back off, you're crowding me.
I always did like Black Cat as a character. I definitely prefer her as an ally to Spider-Man as opposed to, you know, his equivalent to Catwoman. And it also examines some interesting things about being a mass crime fighter. In just about any iteration, she and Spider-Man do develop a romantic relationship, but it ultimately ends up not working, mainly because while Black Cat is in love with Spider-Man, she doesn't really care about who he is under the mask and doesn't really understand why he feels the need to have a civilian life at all. Which is a really interesting idea. I really like Black Cat's design here too. I really love the short hair. It makes more sense than the typically long flowing hair that she has. I feel like that would obscure her vision a little too frequently.
Hey, slow down so I can talk to you.
Slow down? Yeah, right. If you can't keep up, go home.
Though here she does kind of come off as a girl on the playground picking on a boy that she likes.
You always chase girls who brush you off?
No, only the naughty ones. I have standards after all.
Standard is the word. And here I was expecting amazing.
Hey! Yep, got away with the ladies, Spidey. Mr. Smooth.
Yeah, even when Maguire is allowed to quip as Spider-Man, he doesn't do a terribly good job with it.
You know, this chapter opening reminds me of something. The Spidey store gets new items every time a new chapter starts. Aha! Next time you have a chance, visit the store and check out what you got.
Alright, let's see what's going on at the Daily Bugle.
That girl was pretty incredible. Too bad she's probably a crook.
You can do better, Spider-Man. One of the few things from the Disney cartoons that I really liked is the idea of Spider-Man and Miss Marvel as a couple, you know, the two teenage superhero things. Unfortunately, I don't think they ever expanded upon that, aside from it being hinted in the few episodes that she appears in.
Hi, Pete. Pictures
When I was a kid, I always kind of got the sense that Black Cat was supposed to be that character right there, which typically isn't the case. In the comics, Black Cat is Felicia Hardy. I can't remember that character's name right there.
Spider-Man. This Quentin Beck's a special effects guy from Hollywood. Says he's
And
got
it's disappointing that J. Jonah Jameson isn't voiced by J.K. Simmons.
Oh, Parker. I don't pay you for your opinion, Parker. I pay you for photos.
Well,
Let me guess. You don't have any pictures, do you? You're fired. Come back when you get me shots of that red and blue wacko.
You can't fire a freelancer, dude.
I think that's the third time JJ's fired me this week.
Peter. Everything going okay?
Hey, Robbie.
Jonah beating you up again? Don't mind him. Listen, I have a job you could do for me. We need a picture for a story. I want a high shot of the whole city. Here, if you have a map handy, I'll mark where I'd like you to take the picture. Can you get it for me?
Sure thing, Robbie. I'll be back before you know it. Thanks.
And out we go. Another feature I really like from the Insomniac games is the web zip mechanic, where you can bounce off certain points in the map, which is a good way to get air as well as pick up speed. Even this right here, I feel, is the inspiration for the photography mechanic in Insomniac games. Alley-oop.
I have enough trouble without someone trying to convince thugs that I don't have powers.
He's talking about Quentin Beck, also known as Mysterio, who also plays a significant role in the game, having a pretty long encounter with the webhead in the game. Yeah, I think they got the vast majority of New York here. That's pretty impressive. Man, look at that. It's awesome. Gungala! Yeah! That's fun. Alright, let's see what we got.
Oh, this is great, Peter. I knew I could count on you. Take these photos to Jonah, and if you're ever having any trouble getting work from him, you come talk to me. You never know what I might have for you.
Thanks,
Good old Robbie. You can always count on him. Out we go. Oh, I guess there's something else in here I need to do.
Hi, Pete. How are you doing today?
Hi, Betty. I'm okay.
Betty Brandt, that's her
Mr.
name.
Jameson around?
Sure. Go on in.
Another one of Peter's famous love interest.
What do you want, Parker?
Robbie said...
Give me those. What is this garbage? Why are you bringing me shots of the city and not shots of Spider-Man? This is the sorriest excuse for... Oh, wait a second. Robbie wanted these, didn't he? Yeah, they're fine. Now get out of my office.
Good old JJ. Okay, now let's get a move on.
Explosion. Better check it out.
I was hoping we'd get to this point.
Let's get out of here. Rhino, get that equipment back to base, understood?
Spider-Man, huh? Finally. I've been dying to see what you can do.
I know I've heard that voice before, but I can't name it.
I'm gonna break your bones and make you cry for your mama.
Rhino, I'm gonna take a wild guess that you're strong but dumb.
Whoa, that Rhino is...
I don't feel
A good introduction to the counter mechanic in the game. Whenever you see your spider sense tingle, you hit the X button and Spider-Man will counter, which is pretty important gameplay-wise. It becomes instrumental in later combat encounters.
Now you're in for it.
Watch out!
He made himself dizzy!
Oh, man.
Is that all you got?
Okay, I don't think it would be that easy to take out the Rhino.
Oh, no. The boss is gonna kill me.
And again, we never meet his boss, so whoever he is, I don't know.
Sorry to leave you hanging, Rhino, but I don't want to be accused of poaching. I think the police should be able to handle you at this point. Have fun.
Jeez, you're pretty tough for such a scrawny little guy.
That's great. Okay, which way is the store? Need to buy a new upgrade. Okay, right around the corner. Alley up.
No, you the man.
Oh, you're such a dork. Who am I to call someone a dork anyway? I'm playing a 20-year-old game based on a comic book movie. Well, that's what I need to get, right? Alright, let's do some hero work. I've got 10 minutes left on the stream.
You rang?
And I'm sure you guys recognize that character model too. That's the one I helped out with the briefcase earlier. You see that character model everywhere.
I'm sure the police can catch those guys, but someone could get hurt in the meantime. Let me see if I can help.
Landing on the cars is also a little troublesome.
You guys are in trouble now.
Again, I like how in the Insomniac games you can latch onto it with your web to get on it, which is helpful.
You guys are such a nuisance. Hope your insurance is paid up.
You can also go into focus mode,
Nice.
which slows things down.
Faster than the bad guys. You'll see attacks coming from a mile away. You can even do different, more damaging moves.
And again, I much prefer the combat in the Insomniac game. I know I've said that a lot this stream, but that's just the nature of talking about this. Like, everything this game does, Insomniac would eventually perfect.
Spidey, look! That person is going to fall!
Okay, might I ask what you were doing up there, dude?
On my way.
Hang on, guy. I'm a-coming.
Easy. You're gonna be okay.
Alright, next time use a harness, dude.
Oh, thank goodness. I was sure that was it.
Hey, would I let you down?
A lot of cool moves that you can do in the game, too. Like, if you hit the wall running, you can run along it for a little bit, which is kind of neat. And you can bounce off the walls, too, which I'm having a hard time doing. You can do it, though. Some music would be nice right here, too.
Sup?
Spider-Man, thank goodness you're here. That man needs to get to the hospital fast.
Oh, it hurts.
Don't worry, he's as good as there.
Hang on, pal, I got you.
Be all right.
I wish I had a siren to run. It's such a generic soundtrack here, but I do like the music that's playing. Alright, Doc,
Okay,
all yours.
Doctors will take it from here.
Thanks, Spidey. We better get this patient to OR, stat!
Spider-Man saves the day again. Alright, one more should do it. There's one.
Oh, Spider-Man!
Give it to me straight. Do I look fat in these tights?
Yes!
Spidey, you have to stop those robbers. They're holding up an armored car.
Crime doesn't pay.
Whatever.
Guess break
Dude,
time is over.
if you're gonna hold someone up, could you at least aim your gun? You're gonna knock his teeth out for that.
Spider-Man just showed.
Dagger uppercut!
Lucky for you, I pull my punches.
Batter up!
Couldn't even wait for it to get to the bank, huh? Better not.
Yeah, I know I keep knocking them into the air, but that's just the most effective way to keep the enemies from ganging up on you. Alright, that should do it. Let's see what this next story mission is before we call it. Oh, someone needs my help. I need to go save him.
You gonna make me hurt you?
No, but I'm gonna hurt you, dude. Hey, no, I got stuff to do, dude. Get that off my screen.
Hit, move. Here's your first back.
There you go, lady. Alright, where's this gonna take me? Your web lines can get hooked on the buildings too, which I don't think can happen in the Insomniac games. Yeah, yep. Quite a ways to go. Probably gonna run out the clock by the time I get there. Actually, I think I'm going to see Doc Ock. Get him, Ball! See what we got here.
Harry! About time you got here. Otto's a busy man. I don't want to keep him waiting.
Sorry, Harry.
Never mind, let's go.
Whoa.
Harry, it's good to see you again. Otto, your guests are here.
Harry? Otto, Rose, let me introduce my good friend, Peter Parker.
It's a huge honor to meet you.
Parker? My friend Dr. Connors told me about a brilliant student of his named Parker, who can't seem to stay awake in class.
I'm sure Kurt has beaten him up enough already, Otto.
You're right, of course. This is my wife, Rosie, without whom I would be lost. She is my assistant and inspiration. Come and take a look at my masterpiece. There it is. Sustained fusion has never been possible before. Why?
Once the reaction reaches a certain point, it becomes impossible to contain and control it.
Exactly. Until now. Using tritium in the core.
Provided exclusively by Oscorp.
Yes, of course. As I was saying, tritium in the core lends the reaction more stability. And these arms are the key.
Amazing. How do they work?
Well, you see...
Peter, we don't want to keep Otto from his work.
In that case, Peter, won't you join us for dinner next time you visit? I'm sure Otto would be happy to explain more then.
Yeah, for the record, Spider-Man 2 also has my favorite depiction of Doc Ock ever.
I can't believe
outside of the character just being outstanding, the design is just wicked awesome. I like how he's a more fit maverick mad scientist than the out-of-shape old man that he tends to be depicted as in other media. Alright, one more hero mission, then we're going to call it for the night.
Spider-Man! Some thugs are shooting at the police!
Drop your weapons!
Come and get him, cop!
Shooting? I'll deal with it.
This guy's got enough to deal with. I really hate it when they block. They should be able to stop the punches of a man who can take out a T-Rex with one punch. Shoryuken! The red doll visits in this game are hilarious. I love it.
Darn thugs shot up our car. Can you catch him, Webhead?
No problem.
Hey, you're it. Hey!
About a career change.
Yeah, might be wise.
I think you zigged when you should have zagged.
I think that's going to do it for tonight. So, Spider-Man 2, the video game. Again, we're talking about the game based on the 2004 movie, not the 2023 game. This is still a really fun game to play, and it's impressive how many of its ideas are still used in Spider-Man games today. The way this game is structured is almost exactly like it is in the Insomniac games. And yeah, you can see the influence of this game all over the place. It really was a revelation for the superhero genre in video games. That being said, the game has aged. The story, while well told here, is no substitute for the movie itself. The presentation is long since past its prime. And while the web swinging is still a lot of fun, the combat is a little bit sloppy, and like it's just lacking the polish that other games would have. It's still fun to play, but these days I would probably recommend the Insomniac games to people looking for the full Spider-Man experience, and would really only recommend this game to either hardcore fans of the character or people like me who are just big into video game design and history. But that's going to do it for tonight, guys. If you enjoyed tonight's content, please be sure to like and subscribe. I do these videos every night, every Saturday at 8 o'clock. And what I do is I pick a game and I play it for about an hour and talk about the design aspects and stuff like that, because I love that stuff and I enjoy sharing it with people. I do not play games from start to finish because I feel like you are missing something if you don't play the game yourself. Though no disrespect to anyone who chooses to consume video games in that manner. If there is any game that you would like me to cover in this format, please leave it in the comments. If I think it's worth looking at, I'll be sure to add it to the list. But honestly, can someone please recommend something in the comments, because next weekend, it's time. It's time for that game. I'll see you guys then.